Hello. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another live stream by ITTT. My name is Linda. And today we're going to talk about where schools provide free housing and free airfare. So all the locations, all the countries that offer this amazing perk. And hopefully this is going to help you make a decision of maybe where you're going to go and teach English abroad, right? This is a big determiner, big plus, a huge perk to have, not having to worry about housing or airfare. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And please, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. You're already here on Facebook and on YouTube, so just give it a like and a subscribe. We always share a lot of really great content on our Facebook page as well. A lot of seasonal kind of teaching materials that you can use in your classroom. Also on YouTube, a lot of great stuff. So I recommend subscribing and liking, and so that you can stay on top of things. And also, I would really like to know where you are right now. Where are you guys watching from? And also, can you see me and hear me clearly? Just leave like a hi in the comment box and let me know where you guys are, where you're tuning in from, and what time it is there, and just how you're doing today. I'm doing pretty well. If you've seen my live streams before, then maybe you are a little confused about the background. I'm actually not in my usual place. Normally, I am actually in my home in South Korea, where I've been already for the past 6.5 years. But now I'm actually back home in Germany, and this is where I'm streaming from. That's why it's still pretty light outside. It is afternoon here, and I just got back here last Sunday, so it's almost a week that I've been back in Germany for a little while, visiting my family. But of course, I'm still taking my precious time to go live for you all and provide you with some value, hopefully. So yeah, if you can see me, if you can hear me, leave a hi in the comment section. Let me know where you are watching from, where you are right now. And I'm actually right now in Germany, about an hour away from Munich. If anyone's ever been, let me know. And after that, meanwhile, I'm just gonna introduce today's topic for everybody who is tuning in late, but also actually most importantly, a 30% off code that we always offer during our live sessions, right? If you've seen our live sessions before, you are aware of this. Only during our live sessions, we share a 30% off discount opportunity, and I'm also going to do that with you. So you can either scan this QR code in the upper right-hand corner, or if you can't do that, no problem. You can also just apply through the discount link, which I'm going to share, and it's going to be in the comment box below. So have a quick look. It looks like this. So you can click on that. You can fill out your application, and you'll receive 30% off any TEFL or TESOL course from ITTT. Okay. All right, and we have a comment here from Darla. Hi, Darla. Good morning from New Hampshire, USA. Awesome. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. That's awesome. Yeah, actually, I've never been live at this time, so it's a little bit different maybe. My usual time is actually 10 a.m. Korea time, which is almost like 12 hours earlier than this time. So we'll see what happens. We'll see who will tune in. But thank you so much for being here today and tuning in. But I also think it's a great opportunity. Phone ringing. Anyway, good opportunity to get a couple of other people in here in this live stream. So yeah, I'm actually back in my parents' house, so that's why there are other people, so there might be a phone ringing here and there, but that's all right. Okay, very good. So then, without further ado, maybe let me jump in, but feel free to still let me know where you are watching from. I know that there's a lot of other people here, so feel free to let me know where you guys are. I'm always super curious about that. So yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, and if you've never seen my live streams before, I do have slides, and I'm actually going to make myself a little bit smaller now so we can see that better. Here we go. Oh, and also feel free to grab a cup of coffee like I do. I always like to have a cup of coffee nearby. Usually these live sessions take maybe 45 minutes to an hour, but if you don't have so much time, no problem. You can always rewatch them later. No problem at all. And yeah, also check out our other live sessions that we have in our playlists on YouTube and also on Facebook. We've actually been going live for every week for over a year now. So it's a huge library of lots of other interesting information, always free and accessible to you. And we always have the opportunity. Sometimes we just do like Q&A sessions, but sometimes, but after every live session that has a topic like today, at the end, there will also be a Q&A time where also you can ask questions, but feel free anytime during this live session to just ask questions and ask away, no problem at all. And we have Amitava here. Hi. And she's asking where you're right now in Germany, 1 hour from Munich. Linda, what time is it now? It is now just past 7 p.m. in Kolkata, India. Oh, great. Yeah, it's just past 2:30 p.m. here in Germany. And I am right now in a city called Augsburg. So that's about an hour from Munich. Yeah. And it's 2:30 in the afternoon. Awesome. Great. Oh, Juliana is here as well. Juliana says, hi, I'm watching this live session at my car in Illinois. It's 7:30 a.m. now. I will work at 8. Oh, thank you so much for tuning in. That's great. Oh, happy Thanksgiving. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Awesome. Love it. And I think that's 感恩节, right? 感恩节? Thanksgiving. Hope I'm getting that right. 感恩节快乐. 谢谢你. All right, awesome. Good. So I always like to start my live sessions with a brief introduction about myself. No. Oh my God, it's skipping today. I'm using a different computer and it's, let's see. Yes, this is what we want. Perfect. Great. It's always like when you're in a new location, not your usual environment, things can maybe be a little bit different, but yeah. Anyway, so yeah, if you have never seen me before, my name is Linda. I'm a travel writer and content creator under the name Linda Goes East. And I also have my own personal website at lindagoeseast.com. And also, I'm very active on Instagram at Linda Goes East, so you can check that out. Send me a DM, totally fine. I know that some of you have before, and that's always super exciting to have a chat with you all. Or you can ask me questions. Maybe some of you don't want to ask them in public, and that's totally fine as well. Yeah, and like I said, I'm originally from Germany and the US. So my mom is German, my dad is American, and right now I am in Germany actually, but normally I'm based in South Korea. But I am here now in Germany and visiting family. So that's why I'm here. And then also on the other side over here, I am a TEFL and TESOL marketing professional for ITTT, which stands for International TEFL and TESOL Training. As many of you probably know, I know that many of you are already TEFL or TESOL certified by ITTT, but some of you might not be. And yeah, if you are or if you aren't, also feel free to let me know in the comments. I'm always curious to see who's already TEFL certified, TESOL certified, who isn't yet. That will also be helpful to me to offer you more detailed suggestions and feedback. ITTT, you can find us at teflcourse.net and also on Instagram and other social media platforms at International TEFL Training. And ITTT is a leading TEFL and TESOL course provider operating worldwide. We have a wide variety of different courses, online courses, in-class courses, combined courses. So yeah, check us out if you haven't yet. And like I said, there is this 30% off discount code that I just shared a little bit earlier. But at any time, you can also scan this QR code in the upper right-hand corner to get your discount. And I'm also going to share it again later on, so don't you worry. You can definitely get your discount. And I already have a couple of questions here in the comments. I'm just going to have a look at real quick. So we have one from Abdullah, who says, is there any face-to-face courses offered here in Europe? I live in the Netherlands. Yeah, we have quite a lot of locations in Europe, so you can check that out. You just go to TEFLcourse.net, and then there's a section for in-class courses, and then you can see all the locations, and there are many, many locations in Europe, and many of them are also operating under, Corona COVID guidelines. So we do have active courses at the moment as well. So do check that out for sure. And then we have a question from Bashar, who says, can you provide me with famous websites for teaching English? Well, I would say ITTT is a famous website. Or do you mean online teaching platforms? Maybe that's what you mean. If you mean that, then you can actually check out our playlist. Me and my colleague Lisa, who also goes live once a week, we actually did quite a few live sessions about teaching online. And we shared a useful Google Sheet with 20 of our recommended teaching platforms. So you can check that out in our playlist, and then also get your free Google Sheet, download it, and you have access to all of those resources. So I highly recommend doing that. You can also, and this is also for everybody here, for any kind of additional questions that you might have, you can also browse our FAQ page, which looks like this here. And you'll find a lot of answers there as well. There's also a big section about teaching English online, and we share different platforms there as well. So do check that out. You might find what you're looking for also in our FAQ section, but feel free to just ask questions at any time anyway. And yeah, so enough about me. Let's jump into today's topic. I'm just going to put that here for anybody who's tuning in later. So today we're going to talk about all the countries where schools provide free housing and airfare. And I actually split it up by regions, so by continents. So we're going to start with Asia, then we're going to talk about the Middle East, and lastly, we're going to talk about Europe, because those are the regions where schools provide free housing and airfare, and we're going to talk about specific countries. And but just as a disclaimer, there might also be some schools, in other parts of the world that I'm not mentioning today that also offer free housing and airfare. This usually depends on the individual school or language institute, but the countries that I'm going to mention today, they generally always provide these perks. But yeah. Hi, Mikey. Thanks for tuning in. Great. All right, so let's start off our journey in Asia, my favorite continent. So yeah, let's start right off. And this, I don't think is ordered by any specific order. It might be, I don't think it's even alphabetical. It's just random order. So first off is China. And they also provide free housing and airfare. And I always, as you can see here, we have the benefit package that that teachers in China get typically with their contract. So as you can see here, we have free accommodation, free housing, paid airfare as well. And in China, there's also typically an end of contract bonus. So that means after you finish, let's say your 1-year teaching contract in China, you then get an additional bonus. So this could be a fixed amount of money, or this could be like 1 month worth of your salary, something like that. Usually that's what it is, or 2 months. But this is also something that will be stated in your contract, and you might be able to negotiate. A typical salary in China is from 1,000 to 2,500 USD a month. Hi, Giuliano. Yeah, great. Amitabh, I'm going to look at your question in just a bit after this slide, and I'm going to be able to hopefully answer that. But requirements for China, just as a guideline, I'm not really going into that. I did a live session before about teaching English in Asia, and I'm going more in depth in about China there. But today we're just going to focus about these benefit packages and the perks. That's why this is highlighted in green. But the basic requirements are a bachelor's degree, 2 years teaching experience, and a TEFL certificate of at least 120 hours, which ITTT also offers, of course, and many of our course graduates have moved to China and are teaching in China. But I just added this small disclaimer here, if you can see it. Here, oh yeah, here you go, this hand here, a disclaimer, basically saying that recent regulations have changed the Chinese EFL market. This is something to think about, to notice. And I think in a couple lives ago, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, I focused on this topic specifically, what's happening in China, all the changes, all the regulations in China. So if you're curious about what is happening there, go to our playlist and check out that video. It's very, very interesting and definitely something you need to check out. So yeah, China used to be, a huge market for teaching English, and it's just not like that anymore. But more details are in the other live session. Okay, let's move on to the next country, which is South Korea. So as you can see now, the benefit package here is a little bit bigger even than China. So we have free accommodation over here, free accommodation. We also have paid airfare. We also have an end of contract bonus, but what's also different in Korea is we also have a national pension scheme. So this is very interesting. If you are a teacher, any teacher in South Korea, you will pay into the national pension scheme. So a certain percentage of your salary actually goes into the pension scheme. And then if you decide to leave Korea after a year, after 2 years, how many years later that you have taught in Korea and then you're leaving, you can actually get this pension paid out. And this, depending on how long you were there for, it's actually quite a big amount of money. So this is another great perk for all the people teaching English in South Korea. A typical salary also in Korea is between 1,600 and 2,400 US dollars. It usually depends on what type of school you work for and your background, etc. But these are some of the highest salaries in that region in Asia. And another thing I want to mention here, highlight an idea or just a tip. Public school teachers, they get more vacation days than private school teachers. So if that's something that that's important to you, obviously, then maybe you should look into the EPIC program, for example, which is a program that places foreign teachers into public schools in Korea. So public schools, you will have more vacation days compared to private schools, but private schools tend to have higher salaries. So it depends on what you are looking for. Of course, you can also switch. So you could work, for a private school a year, and then you're like, you know what, I actually want more vacation, and you could switch over to a public school. That's also possible. Requirements for South Korea are also a 4-year degree in any subject. It doesn't have to be in English. It can be any subject. A TEFL certificate as well. And for South Korea to qualify for the E2 teaching visa, you actually need to be a passport holder of certain English-speaking countries. Only those will be eligible to get that English teaching visa. However, if you are already in Korea under a different kind of visa, you can also apply for teaching positions. Okay. And now let me have a look at Amitava's question here. It's a little bit long, but I'm going to read it out. Linda, are there any teaching options in your motherland in Germany? By the way, I'm an 120-hour in-class intensive 4 weeks TEFL graduate, I think, from Kathmandu, Nepal in June 2019, and 250-hour online TESOL certified in April 2021. Okay, yeah, so teaching positions in Germany, it's possible. Definitely, but it's not as like a big market as, for example, like in China, in Asia or the Middle East, which I'm going to talk about after our Asia excursion. It is possible, but certainly the requirements are a little bit more tough, and it can be tough to secure a residence permit. So for people who are interested in teaching English in Europe, we typically recommend places like the Czech Republic because they have better regulations. They're not as strict. It's easier to get in. Also, Portugal is pretty hot right now in the TEFL industry as a destination. And also there are a lot of opportunities in Spain. So maybe that's something you are interested in, and then you could change later on after you got more experience perhaps, but it's definitely possible. And we do have a job section on our website as well. So if you go to our website, teflcourse.net, you will find in the upper menu where it says TEFL jobs, and you click on there, and you can also filter by country, so you can check that out and apply for positions in Germany. All right, and now we have another question here from Giuliano about South Korea, I believe. So what about public and private schools? Is the demand or the requirements the same? Yes, so the requirements are pretty much the same for both private and public schools, and the demand, I would say, is also similar. However, if you apply for public schools, through the EPIC program, it is very competitive. A lot of people want to get in. And there's certainly more private schools compared to public schools, but I would say overall there's a big demand. And actually South Korea is one of the countries that has a huge demand for next year, for 2022. If you watch that live session, I think it was the last week's live session, I talked about what you should know about teaching English in 2022. And South Korea was one of the hot destinations with a huge demand at the moment. So yeah, you can find positions both in public and private schools. Okay, let's move on to the next country in Asia, which is Japan. So the benefit package for Japan is very similar to Korea. As you can see, you also get housing. However, in Japan, most of the time you don't get completely 100% free housing, but you get a housing subsidy. So you get either a fixed amount of money that should go towards your rent, or a certain percentage that is covered by your employer for housing. However, you do get paid airfare. You also get end of contract bonuses, and you also, just like in Korea, have the national pension scheme that you pay into, and then you can get the money back as well. Japan also has some of the highest salaries in Asia. So as you can see, they're between 2,000 and 6,000 US dollars. However, the cost of living is significantly higher, one of the highest in the region. So you always need to kind of compare that. And also is same with Korea, public school teachers, they also have more vacation days. And so if you're interested in that, you can also apply through the JET program, which is similar to the EPIC program in Korea, which places teachers into public schools in Japan. And the requirements, so if you're maybe interested in teaching in East Asia, in Korea, but you're not a non-native English speaker, it's difficult to come to Korea. Maybe you can look to Japan, where it's not a requirement to be a native English speaker, but a fluent English speaker, right? So yeah, that is a great perk, a great advantage for non-native English speakers. And for Japan, you also need to have a degree in any subject. And they also have, I think this is actually from the JET program, this last point, have a strong desire and willingness to pass on your language knowledge to your students. But I think everybody has that who wants to be a teacher anyway. So as you can see, kind of Japan is a little bit more open-minded in terms of their requirements, not as strict as other countries. So that's a really good thing. Okay. Next up in Asia, we have Taiwan. Taiwan, also the salary range is between 1,500 and 3,000 per month, and the benefit package, similar to all our other previous destinations, except for the national pension scheme, which does not apply for foreign workers in Taiwan. So you don't pay into that, but you do get free accommodation, typically paid airfare, and also end of contract bonuses. And a tip, what I have here, so if you are, for example, super interested in teaching in China, maybe because of the new regulations, you're like unsure now, Taiwan is a great alternative because Taiwan and China share a similar culture, similar language. They also both speak Chinese. So maybe if you're interested in China, but you're kind of bummed out about the current situation there, you don't want to go there, maybe you could go to Taiwan and have a similar experience. Requirements in Taiwan, you need to be over 20 years old for a teaching position there. And you also need to be a native English speaker with a passport from the US, the UK, Ireland, South Africa, Canada, New Zealand, or Australia. So that's kind of similar to Korea, a little bit more limiting. And you need to have a university degree, a 4-year degree in any subject. Okay. All right. Moving on. Next up, we have Malaysia. Also one of the countries that offer great perks and a great benefit package. As you can see now, we also have a housing subsidy. We have also paid airfare, but not for everyone. So that's something that maybe you could negotiate with your employer. But some contracts, they do certainly offer that. Probably mostly bigger schools, I would imagine. And then also the national pension scheme is also something that Malaysia has, where also expat workers pay into, and then you can also get it back at the end. Salary ranges around $1,000 a month, which maybe doesn't sound like much, but remember, always in comparison with the local cost of living, which is significantly lower in Southeast Asia compared to East Asia, right? Requirements for Malaysia are a degree in any subject, a TEFL certificate, and they also typically want their teachers to have 2 years of teaching experience. And another thing to remember for Malaysia, that most employers, most schools, they actually want to interview their teachers in person. So typically, if you want to teach English in Malaysia, you actually need to be there and interview in person. That's something that's different compared to Korea, China, Japan, Taiwan. All of these places, they recruit from outside the country, and you would typically have a Skype interview. For Malaysia, you need to be in the country to interview. So that's just something to know about, obviously. All right, and then we also have Indonesia here. Salary is similar to Malaysia that we just talked about. So between 1,000 and 1,500 US dollars a month. You also have a housing subsidy here. And you also have paid airfare in many cases. And the requirements, you need to have a degree, and usually also a TEFL certificate is preferred. And just something as a tip, if you are interested in Indonesia, maybe you should go and look for jobs in Jakarta. So Jakarta, that's the capital city. It has the majority of English learners in all of Indonesia. But you can definitely also find positions in other parts of Indonesia, especially touristy places. So certainly also Bali, where a lot of people want to be and live, and it's a great place to stay. Very also international. A lot of foreigners have moved there in recent years. Great vibes. So that's definitely also possible in Indonesia. But yeah, the biggest market for English teachers will definitely be in Jakarta. But then at least you're not too far away from Bali and you can just fly over in your free time. Yeah. Okay. Very nice. Let's see what is next. Okay, great. Hong Kong is next. Hong Kong, also I mentioned before in one of our lives about teaching English in Asia because it has a very big teaching market actually. As you can see, I'm just going to mention that first here, the tip. Hong Kong has something called the NET scheme, which is similar to the JET program in Japan, the EPIC program in Korea that I've mentioned before. So the NET scheme in Hong Kong also places qualified teachers from overseas countries into state-run schools in Hong Kong. Typical salary is between 3,200 and 7,700 US dollars a month, also very high, but also the cost of living in Hong Kong is quite high as well. However, you get a lot of benefits teaching English in Hong Kong. Typically, you will get free accommodation. You also get paid airfare. They also have a national pension scheme that you pay into and then get the money back later when you leave. And there's also contract completion bonuses. So that's also really nice. Yep, did I already mention the requirements? I forget. Anyway, you need a degree in any subject, a 4-year degree, again, and a TEFL certificate is very, very helpful and oftentimes required in schools in Hong Kong as well. All right, good. Now, I'm not sure how many, I forget how many countries in Asia I am mentioning. This might be the last one. Yes. So this is the last one. So I'm going to take a few seconds now where maybe you can ask your questions. If you have any questions about any of the countries I mentioned in Asia or other countries in Asia that I didn't mention, you can do so now before we move on over to the Middle East. I'm just going to give you guys a couple of seconds so you can think about if you have any relating questions to Asia, and you can let me know. And in the meantime, I'm just going to mention again that we do have this 30% off opportunity. And, oh no, not this one. Let me share the link with you as well. So, yeah, looks like this. So it should show up in your comment section. So if you're not yet TEFL or TESOL certified, or if you're interested in specialized TEFL courses as well, you can sign up through this link and save 30% off any TEFL or TESOL course from ITTT. Darla, that's a very good question. Thank you so much. So Darla's asking, have you heard of any schools providing funds for required quarantine expenses? Good question. I have, yes. So I can tell you that in Korea, for example, where I live, teachers, they can actually quarantine in their home. So because you will get free housing when teaching English in Korea, and so you will actually quarantine in this apartment where you will be living. So you will actually not have any costs. You just need to stay there. Is it 10 or 14 days now? I forget. But you will have to stay there. But there are no costs involved with that. Other countries, I know I've heard from somebody in Vietnam that a lot of schools are actually doing sort of like 50-50 deals where the school pays 50% of the quarantine fees and then the teacher pays 50%, or also they maybe sometimes deduct that money then from your first month's salary or like the first 2 months salary, and it will be kind of organized that way. So definitely that is happening in many countries at the moment where, you know, you have to pay for your own quarantine. And it's also something that you can certainly negotiate during your interviews and ask, and should ask, you know, how that's being handled. But yeah, so this is happening. So this is usually the two versions that we see. Either it's completely free, you don't have to pay anything, or you do like 50-50 kind of deals with your employer. Yeah, great question. Awesome. All right. Then let me move on to the Middle East. Feel free to keep asking your questions. It's really great. And just as a reminder, there also will be a Q&A section at the end after my slides. All right, let's hop into the Middle East. Oh, and also, I don't know why it's skipping. This is the slide that I want. Here we go. Before I talk about Saudi Arabia, I just want to mention that the Middle East is generally the region that has the best salaries, the best bonuses, the best perks for English teachers abroad. Just so you know upfront, however, with such great perks also come more requirements, stricter requirements. They have more requirements for their teachers. But let's have a look at the first one, which is, as you've probably already seen, Saudi Arabia. And as you can see, typical salary in Saudi Arabia is between 3,000 and 5,000 US dollars a month. And what's really, really great about many Middle Eastern countries is that their salaries are all tax-free. So you don't pay any income tax on your salary. You get everything out, 100%. No taxes, which is amazing. So here, huge, amazing benefit package. You have free accommodation, paid airfare, contract completion bonus, and tax-free salaries. So really, really great. Requirements, as you can see, are a little bit more strict compared to other countries we've looked at before, especially this third point where it says a teaching qualification from your home country. So you actually need to have a teaching license or a teaching qualification from your home country in order to go and teach in Saudi Arabia as well. So that's the only difference. And also they want a minimum of 2 years of classroom experience. And what's good to know here is that there is no income tax. So expats are also, however, excluded from the Saudi social security system. So you don't need to pay into it, but you're also not covered by it. So you need to organize your own social security things when living as an expat, as a teacher in Saudi Arabia. But I mean, tax-free salaries, that's just great. So if you fulfill the requirements, Saudi Arabia and other Middle Eastern countries we're going to talk about right after this might be just perfect for you. The next one are the United Arab Emirates. Similar here, salaries ranging between 2,500 and 5,500 US dollars a month. The benefit package, very, very nice here as well. You have free accommodation, paid airfare, contract completion bonus. You have tax-free salaries, and you also have an end of service gratuity. And so that basically means that, it's a similar thing like end of completion, contract completion bonus, same type of thing. That's just an additional thing that they also offer. And the requirements here are a bachelor's degree, a TEFL certificate, and previous teaching experience. So for United Arab Emirates, compared to Saudi Arabia, you don't need this teaching license from your home country. So a bachelor's degree, TEFL certificate, and teaching experience are enough for here. And just as an interesting fact, I've added this here, that 90% of the population in the United Arab Emirates are expatriates from all over the world. So it's a very international place, especially bigger cities like Dubai, very international. And I think that's something you might not expect, for a country in this region, but very international and can be a very fun place to live. And I say it again, tax-free salaries just sound very, very appealing, don't they? Next up, we have Oman. As you can see, salaries range between 2,000 and 3,000 US dollars a month. They also have tax-free salaries, which is great. They have free accommodation, paid airfare, and they also have a contract completion bonus. The requirements are the same as the UAE we just talked about, the United Arab Emirates. And if you watched last week's live session about teaching English in 2022 and what to expect, Oman was one of the countries that I recommended for teaching English in 2022. It's booming at the moment. It has a huge demand for foreign teachers. So it's a good place to go to for next year and look into positions there. A lot of vacancies, great demand, and again, I say it, tax-free salaries. So might be a good choice for somebody here to head to Oman. Next up in the region, we have Qatar. Also has a pretty good salary range between 2,000 and 4,000 a month. And again, same, free accommodation, free airfare, contract completion bonus, and tax-free salaries in Qatar as well. And also in Qatar, 90% of the population are expats from all over the world. Again, very multicultural, a very expat-rich country. Requirements, again, it's a degree in English here is preferred. Additionally, you need to be a native English speaker. You need to have previous teaching experience, and you also need to have a TEFL or TESOL certificate in order to teach English in Qatar. Okay. And then we have Kuwait. Salary similar, between 2,500 and 4,000 US dollars a month. Here, all the same perks and benefits. So free accommodation again, paid airfare, contract completion bonus, tax-free salaries in Kuwait as well. And foreigners here, foreign workers, also have access to the national pension scheme, which is something that the other places in the Middle East didn't have. So Kuwait might be a really good option here. Teachers pay into the national pension scheme, and so when you leave, you can also get it paid out again, which is really, really great. Requirements, also not as strict as some of the other countries. A degree in English, it needs to be in English, a TEFL certificate, and 2 years previous teaching experience. So, yeah. I'm sure many of you have not considered Kuwait as a teaching destination, but here we are. And as you can see, the benefit package is so big and appealing. So maybe you'll think about it and head to Kuwait next. Let's see. I think this is the last one. Oh, maybe one more in the Middle East. So as you can see, the Middle East has a lot of countries with really, really great perks for their teachers. In Bahrain, we have a salary range between 2,500 and 5,300 US dollars a month. Also tax-free salaries, again, free accommodation, paid airfare, and also a contract completion bonus. And similar requirements as before. The degree needs to be in English, a TEFL certificate is required, and previous teaching experience is preferred. There is also something called a Foreign Service Premium, FSP, as you can see down here, which is 25% of a teacher's base salary, which is added to each of a teacher's payment. So that's another interesting bonus. I couldn't really find out too much about this personally. I don't know if this is added every month, or if this is like a yearly thing, or if this is something that you get when you leave. I'm not quite sure, but it sounds pretty great. And either way, it's another great benefit that you can get when you teach in Bahrain. So I think this is really great. If any of you have experience with the Foreign Service Premium, let me know. Maybe we can learn something today, but I couldn't find too much about it, unfortunately. Yep. So maybe, yes. So this is the last one in the Middle East. So now we're moving on to Europe. And I'm only going to be mentioning 2 countries in this region. So maybe before I move on to Europe, let me know if you have any questions about any of the destinations in the Middle East that we just talked about. Then we can get that out of the way before we move on to Europe. But yeah, in Europe, usually the perks aren't that great in most countries. So that's why there's only 2 that I'm going to be talking about. Usually you don't get free housing, you don't get airfare. You might get like a contract bonus at the end if you renew, but it's not really, yeah, you don't really get a lot of perks in Europe. That's why the Middle East and Asia are like the two biggest markets for teaching English abroad. They're the most attractive in terms of salary and bonuses and just perks overall. So yeah, but I did want to mention Europe because I know a lot of you are interested in working and living in Europe as teachers. So that's why I put those two in. So let's just have a look. The first one we're going to talk about is Russia. So it is Europe, but it's also Asia. It's like borderline. But the salaries in Russia range between 1,000 and 1,500 US dollars a month. And also the benefit package is pretty decent. It's free accommodation, paid airfare. You also get a contract renewal bonus. So it's not a contract completion bonus. It's a renewal bonus. So if you renew your contract with a certain school, the school that you work for already a year, for a second year, then you get a bonus. Contract completion bonus just means when you're finished your 1 year contract or your 2 year contract, then you get a bonus if you don't leave early as an incentive. And Russia, you also pay into the national pension scheme here. Very interesting. And this is what I found out about that. So you can actually claim your Russian pension, but you must have been earning a salary in Russia and contributing to the compulsory social security scheme for at least 5 years. So if you've worked in Russia for 5 years and you paid into the national pension scheme, then you are eligible to get that back. So it needs to be 5 years. Here, for the other countries we talked about before, it doesn't matter. Even if you just, like in Korea, for example, if you just worked in Korea 1 year, you can still get your pension back. There's no minimum years there. Requirements are also not as strict in Russia. So it's a degree is usually preferred. You don't even have to have a degree, but it's preferred. And a TEFL certificate. That's usually required if you want to teach English in Russia. And then the other European country here, Turkey. So also again between Europe and Asia, right? Here the salaries are between 800 and 1,800 US dollars a month. And the benefit package is as follows. You do get free accommodation. You also get paid airfare, and you also get a contract renewal bonus. So if you stay at that school, you sign for another year, then you also get a bonus. The requirements here are a TEFL or TESOL certificate, and some they also may ask for a degree and or previous teaching experience. But you can also find positions without a degree and without any experience. But what you need to know about Turkey when you live and work there, that schools, they don't pay SSK, so Social Security. So you need to care about your own insurance and pension and things like that. That is not included or not part of the work experience in Turkey for foreign workers, unfortunately. Okay. All right. All right, with this was the last country that I was mentioning today. As you can see, quite a lot to choose from. Most of them are in Asia and in the Middle East. And now I'm just going to open up Q&A and get back to you to all of your questions that you might have. So let me know, and I'm going to make myself a little bit bigger again. Let me know what questions you have, maybe about what I just talked about, the different countries and regions, or just something completely different. Anything else you want to know about teaching English abroad or online, or yeah, anything else that's on your mind. I'm all ears. I'm still going to be on here for a couple more minutes, so feel free to ask your questions. Like I always say, there are no stupid questions, so feel free to ask away. And then I'm just going to mention again our 30% off opportunity, so that because a lot of people, are coming and going during our live session. So anybody who just tuned in, who hasn't heard yet that we offer 30% off any TEFL or TESOL course from ITTT, take advantage of this opportunity. You can scan this QR code up here, or you can scroll through the comments and find the Facebook Live discount code. So do check that out. I'm just gonna stay on for a little bit. Okay, here we have a question from Darla. Thank you so much. So Darla is asking, can we expect every employer, regardless of country, to assist in the visa process? Pretty much, yeah, because you are, for pretty much all the teaching visas, work visas, you need paperwork from your employer. So they need to help you with that. A lot of teachers also go through recruitment agencies, so work with recruiters who will also help you with that. But usually you're not left alone with any of that. Definitely they will usually help you because they want you to come. And if it's a school, they hired many teachers before you. They went through this process many times. So most of them, they will definitely always help you with that. Or if you're going through a recruiter, they will also help you with it. So don't worry, you're not left alone. Okay. Awesome. Yep. That was a great question. Just saying, like, if I missed any questions here, I don't think I have. If I missed a question, let me know. I don't think I have. But yeah, I always recommend checking out our previous live sessions. There might be some information in there that is useful for you. So like I said, last week I did a live session about what to expect when teaching English in 2022. So next year, a lot of tips for that. Also kind of like with COVID and things like that. And also China, all the regulations, the new stuff that's going on there. So I recommend checking that out if you haven't yet. That's going to be very useful for everyone who wants to pursue teaching in 2022. Also, like I mentioned in the beginning, always we go live once a week. Me on Fridays, like today, and my colleague Lisa, she usually goes live on Tuesdays. And yeah, she is a non-native English speaker from Russia, and she's also in Russia right now. She's teaching English online mostly, but she also taught English in China before, so she has a lot of experience of working abroad as a teacher in China, in a different country, but also online. And especially as a non-native English speaker, because I think a lot of non-native English speakers are worried, that if they complete the course, then maybe they won't find a job, but that's not the case. So she actually has a lot of great information, especially for non-native English speakers, but also native English speakers. Like I learned so much from her, and I actually started teaching English online this year because of her. She did a live session about teaching online and shared so many amazing tips. And after that, I signed up at a platform and I started teaching online. It was just so great. And I've been loving it. Yeah, it's been a great additional income, and I met so many amazing people while teaching English online. So it's been really fun. All right, good question. Amitava, she asks, how is the COVID situation in various countries of Europe? Today morning, I saw a report on my smartphone stating that Americans are warning their citizens to avoid countries like Czech Republic, etc. Yeah, I'm not sure about all the countries in Europe, but I'm in Germany now, and the cases are definitely on the rise. But strict regulations are being enforced. The government is meeting every day, and they're discussing and putting new regulations in place. Yeah, that's what's happening at the moment. It's rising. It's on the rise. So again, unfortunately, there's no end in sight with this whole COVID thing, unfortunately. And I actually heard from a family friend, she was trying to fly to the US through via London, and that flight got canceled. That the US doesn't allow anybody in from the UK or something like that. I mean, there's really new things happening every day, so I think you're definitely doing the right thing of, you know, watching the news and staying up to date, because literally every day something new and something's changing, so it's just very unpredictable. Very unpredictable. That's also why actually a lot of people right now are, you know, moving towards, or have been moving towards, teaching English online also this year, because everything was so uncertain. So that's a great alternative also to gain experience, to make money, certainly. And we did live sessions about teaching English online as well. So if that's something that interests you, also do check that out. Absolutely. But yeah. But how is the situation then where you are, Amitabha? Did you say you were in India? I think so, right? Yeah, you're in India. What's the situation like over there? Is it rising as well? That's like unfortunately a worldwide thing, right? Especially the season changing as well. But yeah, who knows? Who knows? Just waiting for Amitabha maybe to let us know. But yeah, always, this goes for everybody. If you're interested in teaching English abroad, you know, stay up to date with the regulations, gather as much information as you can, you know, from live sessions like this, from the news, also from official authorities, you know, like embassies, places like that are very great resources to then make a decision of where you want to go. All right. If there are no more questions, then we're slowly going to come to an end, and we are slowly going to say goodbye. Okay, here's Amitabha again. She says, well, the situation is quite under control in India, with the cases in Kolkata, my home city, is slightly on the rise. By the way, I'm double vaccinated. Okay. Good. That's good. I'm glad there's they have it under control. Okay. Well, like I said, we go live every week. So maybe if you think of a question that you have, you can ask next week. Also, if you're watching this as a replay, you can still ask your questions in the comments, and we'll get back to you later on as well. We always keep an eye on the comment section, even after the live. So if you have any questions, we'll certainly get back to you at a later time as well. And then, yeah, I think I'm going to say goodbye. And thank you guys all so much for watching, for asking your questions, for staying tuned in here today. And yeah, I'm going to say goodbye now. And then I hope you tune in again next week for another live session. And take advantage of this 30% off situation. If you're not yet certified, now is a great time to start, you know, getting the course underway, going through the units. You can really take your time. There's no rush with things. So yeah. I'm gonna say goodbye then. All right. Thank you all, and have a wonderful weekend wherever you are, all right? And I hope to see you next week. Thank you. Bye.